Mimicry can often be intriguing, watching somebody who was vaguely like somebody else. In the early days of YouTube, so-called clone channels were very rampant. And I'm not talking about people who simply made content in the same genre, because if we were, God, I'm at least a clone of 50,000 other people. Today, I'm going to be talking about channels whose sole gimmick was passing themselves off as another one, whether intentionally or not. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about two different instances involving very different YouTubers. So, without further ado, Bizarre Internet Chronicles, Chapter, Clone Saga.
Graphics by ATI! ATI, my ass!
In the early days of YouTube, a brand new breed of gamer emerged. Loud, profane, and unapologetically furious. Enter the pissed-off angry gamer. With a style somewhat reminiscent of the angry video game nerd, this gamer unleashed a torrent of rage on any consoles and games he deemed unworthy. Whether it was the GameCube, the Xbox 360, or the PSP, this guy's anger knew no bounds. See, he would go after almost anything. The Xbox 360, Contra 4, the PSP, but his biggest meltdown of all things was over the Nintendo GameCube. See, he had some weird issues. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is, bro. I can't keep it together when it comes to this guy. The first time he seemed to mock the beloved console was it a tour video, I guess, where he referred to it as the Nintendo Shit Cube. Do you know why?
Because
Yeah, that's why. So see, he had this weird obsession with how small the GameCube disc was. He referred to them as cookies and repeatedly talked about how hungry they made him.
this looks like a fucking chocolate chip cookie!
He seems to have this weird obsession with complaining about it, as if this was the GameCube's fatal flaw. The discs were too small and cookie-shaped. He just went on and on about it. But then came the moment that ruined it all. He put the GameCube in the microwave. Like it was some skit from 2007. Wait, this video was made in 2006? Damn, I mean, I don't even think I was, damn, that's just old, bruh. Basically after that, he was destroyed by the internet. Everyone clowned him. There were videos and memes made about him. And just how insane he was. Like, I'm talking full breakdowns of the cringe levels on this guy. He almost became a punchline of sorts. One of the main ways people mocked him was by calling him Russian. Although with most people, I think that this was just them actually thinking that he was Russian. Kinda sounds like it, I guess. He would get super angry and offended about this though, and go on and on about how he's actually Jewish. He continued to do more and more reviews, just destroying consoles and shitting on things that people actually like. This dude would do things like dress up as Freddy Krueger in his kitchen and destroy PSPs. Like straight up just start using hammers on different consoles. I mean, bruh, it just pisses me off, man. Like, what I would do for a PSP or a GameCube. He's just breaking them, man. He's just breaking them. Also, his costumes never even really made any sense. Like, for some reason, for his RoboCop review, he dressed up as Homer Simpson. Honestly, the derpy face kind of matches his personality. I don't know what it is about this guy. It just cracks me up. But the absolute insanity, man. Literally no logic to what he does. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's hilarious. There's a reason why he went away. The hate, I guess. Well, he did manage to come back. And he stuck around long enough to start talking about the 2016 Ghostbusters movie and why he hated it, or he hated the idea of it.
I don't want to see a bunch of cock-sucking whores catching ghosts. Catching ghosts is not a bitch's job. Kicking ass and catching ghosts is a man's job.
Yeah, not the most feminist guy, let's just say that. He weirdly enough just pivoted at some point to make an adult review content or something.
Bayonetta's ass. Oh my fucking god. It is so fucking yummy. I wouldn't mind tasting it. What's interesting about this mouse pad, I can now jerk off with the mouse while scrolling all over her body.
I don't know what the hell was going on here. It's some of the most hilariously stupid shit I've ever seen in my life. No, we somehow get an even more insane pivot, and one that makes even less sense considering to where he started from. This guy just starts doing Bible reading videos at some point. Just straight Bible readings. Him just by himself, sitting in his room, nobody there, yarmulke on his head, and a cross around his neck, as he just reads from the Bible.
Immaculate Mary, your praises we sing. You reign now in splendor with Jesus our King.
Now, I don't know what's going on with him religious-wise, and that's not really my business, to be fair. I mean, yeah, he posted it on the internet, but he continues to talk about how he's Jewish, whilst also revering Mary, which makes me think that he may or may not be a Messianic Jew, which are Jews who believe in Christ. Honestly, this was probably the best path for him to go, as I think it's way better than, I don't know, putting GameCubes in microwaves and stuff. I don't know what it is about this guy, but everything about him literally just cracks me up. You know what? This is one of my new favorite channels. I know that it doesn't really exist anymore, but you know what? I think we should bring it back. You know, I might gain some weight to try to recreate these videos myself, but considering that I'm black, I might just come off looking like an EDP clone or hopefully a Gideon clone. I don't know, man. Maybe I might look like Dave Blunts depending on how much I gain. In the ancient wasteland of early YouTube cringe, few stories are as bizarre or as perfect for this video as the saga of Liquid Chris. Now, to understand who Liquid Chris is, you basically have to understand who Chris Chan is. Now, I really don't want to get too into who he is simply because, well, he is literally the most documented person on the entire internet and in all of history, and I don't even want to remotely touch it. Chris had been uploading videos for years, vlogs, rants, bizarre original song parodies, and through all their endeavors, they had basically become a magnet for trolls. Enter Liquid Chris, a YouTube user who started making videos pretending to be Chris Chan, not mocking him directly, not reacting, just straight up role-playing as him. He wore the same striped shirt, copied the awkward speech patterns, sang the same Sonichu fan songs, but was somehow more confident and charismatic than the original while doing so. What made this situation somewhat bizarre was that he referred to himself as the actual real Christian Weston Chandler and called the original an imposter Chris or Solid Chris in reference to Liquid and Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. It was ridiculous, but somehow it worked. People started joking that Liquid Chris was actually the real one. Maybe this is because he seemed more stable and articulate, or this was most likely due to the way Chris Chan reacted to all of this. The saga ultimately peaked when Liquid claimed that he had a girlfriend, a girl that previously the original Chris claimed as his girlfriend. This had the effect of sending Chris Chan into a full-on meltdown. He responded with multiple frantic videos trying to prove that he was in fact the real Christian Weston Chandler and not an imposter, which ultimately just fanned the flames of what was ultimately here to come. This led to him having multiple one-sided arguments with Liquid about who the real Chris Chan was. This whole thing was basically just a parody, but also a weird psychological mirror into Liquid Chris. Liquid Chris was essentially just a better version of Chris Chan in every conceivable way. He was basically a reflection of what Chris Chan would be if he wasn't as horrible as he actually was. It was weird to see the character that Chris has built being played better by somebody else. It was troll performance art, harmless by comparison to the darker things that were here to come. This beef went bizarrely deep though, as Liquid basically claimed to be the true creator of Sonichu and may or may not have owned the intellectual property rights from what it seemed like he was talking about. I think that at some point Chris actually put Liquid in the comics as some weird way to troll him and get back at him, which definitely didn't work. There was so much beef here that it's honestly hilarious. There's so many things I can talk about, such as the singing competition that Chris actually lost to Liquid. It's genuinely insane. You could probably make a whole 30-hour video on just how insane this beef actually was. Eventually though, the saga fizzled out. Liquid Chris retired the act. He was later revealed to be a guy named Christopher Duckworth, who went on to live a pretty normal life. But his brief time as the true and honest creator of Sonichu is still remembered as one of the funniest and most surreal episodes of early internet culture. Seriously, I mean, this shit was genuinely wild to even research.
Your love is all that I need, and I found it there in your heart. It isn't too hard to see, we're in heaven.
Looks like you're the imposter.
Anyways, thanks for watching. I have some more content planned, especially about things like lost media and a couple of other very interesting topics that I really want to cover. If you liked the video, just remember to like and subscribe, and I'll be out.
Who can turn your world around, lift you up when you're feeling down? Yeah, nothing can change what you mean to me. Oh, there's lots that I can say.
Because there's a piece of fucking shit!